beautiful spiritual center and to be giving the talk today. So I want to start off on the talk with some thoughts I had as a young girl. Now, of course, that was a long time ago. But I want to start off with, and I'm not sure if you can relate to any of this, but a long time ago, I had some thoughts about God, and I remember seeing a picture of God. God was at the top of this picture. It was a beautiful blue sky, white fluffy clouds, and there's God at the top, smiling. And God was looking down, almost as suggested that God was looking down at us humans. Did anybody else ever have that image that God was up there and we were down here as a youngster? And I remember seeing a picture of that. I also had another thought when I was younger, that God, I was always told by adults, that God sees everything you're doing. And it was almost said with a tone or a judgment, you better watch out because God will see you. God will see you doing whatever it is, fill in the blank. So with these two thoughts that I had, I became to learn and think that God was way far away from me, separate up in the sky. And I also started to think that God was a judging God. Well, thankfully, we have the chance to change our thinking. We have the chance to mature. So no longer do I think that God is separate from me. And no longer do I wonder if God is a judging God. Because when I was younger, I would often wonder, did God see me shoving those things underneath my bed as I was supposed to be cleaning my room? Or did God see me sticking my tongue out at my brother when he walked by? So it's so wonderful that we can change and have an opportunity to grow and mature. My talk today is called Turn Towards Love. And I'm going to share some of my thoughts on what I believe now. So let's begin about talking about love. I know there's many definitions of love, and I'm sure each one of you have your own definition and meaning of love. But for this talk today, I'm going to focus on love with a capital L, meaning another name for God. And you will hear me use the words love and God interchangeably as I'm talking, as names for God. And I realize you probably have your own endearing name that you call your innermost power. So let's look at how Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, defines love in the glossary in the section of his book, Science of Mind. So he writes, love is the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Love is a synonym for God. For we are also told in the New Testament, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Love is free from condemnation, even as it is free from fear. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. In New Thought religion, we believe in the unity of all life, that the highest God and the innermost God are one God. Holmes states, all sacred scriptures have proclaimed the unity of all life, that every man is a center of God consciousness. This is the meaning of the mystical marriage, of the unity of the soul with its source. Jesus boldly proclaimed that he was one with the Father. This is the basis of all New Thought teaching, the spiritual union of all life. In Ephesians 4:6, it is written, one God and Father of all, who is above all, through all, and in you all. So my idea as a young child that God is far, far away outside of me, possibly judging me, is no longer true to me. Dennis Merritt Jones, a motivational force in New Thought, tells us, regardless of what name we may give to God to personalize our spiritual relationship, the more we can recognize and realize the presence of God in us and as us, the more we experience wholeness in our lives. For me, these two words, recognize and realize, are very important, as the presence of love is always within us. Discovering that divine love is in, around, through, and as me makes so much sense to me and is so comforting. I no longer feel that I need to reach outside of myself, hoping to have a connection to God. Jesus says in Luke 17:21, "For behold, the kingdom of God is within you." So I say to you right here, right now, there is nothing outside of you that you need to search for. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist, wrote, "He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens." So what does it mean to look inside then, or to go inward? Well, as you can probably guess, if you were to cut open the body, you would see flesh, blood, bones. But the love that we're talking about is self-luminous, self-evident, very intimate and formless. This love is beyond the five senses, but undeniably real. So going inward, metaphorically, means to recognize this mysterious but undeniable love. In the book, Love and Law, Holmes wrote, "We must come to the point where we recognize ourselves going to center. God is flowing through us. We are not a projection of God, nor a reflection of God. You and I must come to realize that we are a center of this God-conscious operation and activity. And when we realize that, we will find that within us is the spirit that seeks harmony within us and not without." So, if we're looking to feel complete from something on the outside of us, we will never be satisfied. We will keep searching and searching, only to be let down or feel incomplete. In the text, Can We Talk to God? It is written, "The more completely we become conscious of the divine union, the more power we have over our own existence." We will, listen to this part. We should not limit the unity of God and person to the religious field alone, for this has been one of the great mistakes of the ages, Holmes wrote. And here he's telling us we should not use the unity of God and person only for religious field, but through all parts of our life. So I've come to realize the more we recognize the presence of God in us and as us, the more we experience a wholeness of love, of life. This awareness needs to be cultivated by you. This is something that each person needs to do on their own. The awareness of love needs to be awakened by you. This is not something you can read in a book. This is not something that you can listen to on a podcast. Sure, they can help you learn how to do this, but it is really something that you need to discover and feel and know on your own. Love is the deepest part of our nature. So, how do you know when you're aware and conscious of this innermost love? You will know it when you feel peace, harmony, and a connectedness to all life. You will know it when you need to make a decision, whether this is a big decision, a small decision, whether it's an important decision, and you go inside and you listen. And when the idea does come to you, it is clear, or the answer comes to you, it is complete harmony. Remember, you are an inlet and an outlet of love. All solutions become evident as you are connected to the all-knowing energy. Your decisions, as you are connected to love, will come to you, and they will feel peaceful, healthy, and they'll be beneficial. Decisions that just feel right within you. And you know when you have this feeling, everything just feels in alignment. It feels good in every part of you. And you'll know when you're connected to love, or maybe you've heard of this term, spiritual alignment. Have any of you heard of that term before? It means the same thing. When creative ideas are unfolded, and you feel the joy, you feel the freedom, and they spark creativity. Jones writes, when people become fully awakened to who they are and why they're on this planet, they begin to naturally share their gift with humankind, and in the process, create an enriching life for themselves and the world around them. So I ask you, who here wants a life that's full of meaning, a life of love, prosperity, and joy? Who wants that? Oh, right, there's many hands up, I love it. I know I want that myself. Holmes wrote, man already has within him the key to freedom, but he must come to realize his relation to the whole. This relationship is one of complete unity. So we know that we naturally are in complete unity with love. If you've ever heard the saying, whole, complete, and perfect, have you heard that saying before? We say that we are spiritual beings, and spiritually we are whole, complete, and perfect. This is the complete part in the saying, that we are in complete unity with the whole. This is the deepest part of your nature. And I want to remind you that God will never break this unity. The only possible way this unity is broken with the divine is if we separate ourselves from love. And how can you tell when you may have done this, when you may be separate, you're not in spiritual alignment? How can you tell that? Well, have you ever had feelings of worry, doubt, lack, limitation, fear? Have you ever had any of those feelings? Have you ever felt like, I can't do this, I can't go on? Or, I'll never be able to, whatever it is, just fill in the blank? Have you ever had those feelings creep into your thinking and maybe sometimes even just take over your thinking? These feelings are based on duality, believing in two separate and opposing powers. We can heal this fear or this belief by experiencing God's presence within and then realizing that God is always omnipresent. In the text, Science of Mind by Holmes, he wrote, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love, and that we are his express likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is the self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. Love is an essence, an atmosphere. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, all animal life. Love reigns supreme over all. And it continues, and please soak in these words. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Words cannot express its depths or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact. God is love, love is God. Breathe that in. So we have this knowledge, we have this wisdom that we are never separate, we're always in complete unification. But how do we use this knowledge? Love is always right with us, as we know, as us, through us, and for us. So becoming conscious of this universal truth in us is a fundamental part of using this knowledge in our lives to create lives that we love living. Well, I have 3 key ways that help me use this knowledge, and I'd like to share them with you right now. So the first one is, believe that God is already in you. God cannot be found at all. If, however, you think of God as up there somewhere, and you as down here on earth, and you see God as separate from you, then that is precisely why God cannot be found. There was a time when it was thought that God and you were separate. It is time to let go of that thinking of separation. If what you want is an inner sense of God's nearness, and what spiritual person doesn't want that? Why would you look outside of yourself for who is in you, who is you already? So as you check in with yourself to see where your thoughts are coming from within or without, you will begin to cultivate a knowledge of where your thoughts and actions are based. Are they based from love from within, or are you turning away from love? One of the most used and powerful ways of keeping yourself in check is by using an affirmation, which is really a statement of truth. So here's an affirmative affirmation. Love cannot be found because love is in me already. So let's try saying this together. Repeat after me. Or, I'm sorry, say it with me. Love cannot be found because love is in me already. Let's say that again. Love cannot be found because love is in me already. And here's another one that many people have heard before from Emma Curtis Hopkins. God is my source and supply. Repeat that after me, please. God is my source and supply. Say that one more time like you mean it. God is my source and my supply. So now, as you make this a daily practice of checking in to see where your thoughts are coming from, this will become a way of your daily living. The second way I use this knowledge that we're in complete unity of God is believe that God is in others. Can you imagine the difference it would make in your life and in your relationships and in this world if you could see love not just in you, but in others? What difference would it most certainly make if people made it their spiritual practice to see love in each other and in all things? Imagine that. Think of the respect and the love we would treat each other with. Think of the forgiveness that could happen with others. And if we thought and said, the love in me honors and sees the love in you. Let's take a deep breath with that. The love of me honors and sees the love in you. And let's go on to the third one, the third way I use this knowledge. Be still and know that I am God. So you probably recognize these words from Psalm 42:10. And in other words, when you hear this, be still and know that I am God, stop trying to find God. Why? It isn't necessary, and you can't find something that is not lost. God is in you already. Practice this truth, and in time, you will discover that your old ways of thinking will undergo a miraculous metamorphosis. So here's a quick reminder. Number 1, believe that God is in you already. Number 2, believe that God is in others. And number 3, be still and know that I am God. So I found a beautiful meditative reading that goes perfectly with this talk in the book Journey to the Heart, and it's by Melody Beattie. And right now, I would love to read this to you. It's a powerful reading. So I invite you to get comfortable. You may even want to close your eyes and take these inspirational words in. So here's the inspirational reading. It's called You Are Complete. Think about all that lives, all that is. See how connected each creation is to the workings of the universe. But see also that the essence of all that is, the core, lies within each. From the tiniest purple wildflower to the tallest redwood in the forest, each creation contains its own energy system, its own energy core for living. And so it is with us. We're intricately connected to the world. We receive energy, life-sustaining nourishment, and support from the world around us. But inside of each us, it is our own source for love, joy, and wisdom. Our ability to love, live, feel, and be happy comes from our own hearts. Look inside yourself. Feel your vitality, your energy. Feel your essence. It is pure love. Everything you need in order to live and love is within you. Nurture yourself. Let yourself grow. Learn to grow and walk in the ways of love. Learn from all who cross your path. Value your connections to others and the world around you. Receive and give freely as you walk down the road. Take your place in the world. Know you are a part of a complete universe, but remember, you are a complete universe too. So take a few seconds to allow these words to permeate throughout you as you open your eyes. And in closing, I want to remind you how very powerful you are. You are whole, complete, and perfect. You have the most powerful force in, around, through, and as you. You are in complete unity with love. This creative substance created all that is, was, and can be. It is love expressing itself through you, through us. Recognize this supreme power that is operating through every individual. By recognizing love as your truth, there is nothing you cannot do or achieve as you are in spiritual alignment with the greatest essence of all. By being aware and conscious and turning within to love, watch how love, joy, prosperity, harmony, peace multiplies in your life and the lives of others around you. And remember to always turn towards love. And so it is.
And so it is.